Hello Aries friends, I'm Annie Botticelli and welcome to my Aries September 2025 astrology horoscope forecast. What a powerful month we have. This is definitely one of the two most intense months of the whole year. I'll get into all of the details why. I'm calling the theme of this month for Aries, Dethroning Darkness. Aries Stormriders emerge victorious. And I will tell you why. There has been a storm building for Aries in all of these different departments. This report is for you. If Aries is your sun sign, your moon sign, or your rising sign like me, or any other Aries placement you're listening for, what I'm going to talk about here is part of your astrological picture. Very late degree Aries friends, so birthdays like April 15th through the rest of the sign, or 23 degrees of Aries placements through the rest of the sign. I suggest you additionally listen to my Taurus report, as you very late degree friends will benefit from both readings. So let's talk about the storms that have been brewing up until now, and then the storyline that increases this month, and see what you can do with this, okay? There are also lots of great things that are not storms to sprinkle in for fun. So we'll just talk about the whole picture, your whole astrological weather picture for this time. Most astrological transits don't neatly fit into a calendar month. So a lot of the things I talk about will be present before, during, and after this time, or for a short period of time during the month. All right, let's talk about this building story. In June, which you may have started feeling a few months before that, Jupiter got into Cancer. Now, Jupiter is ruling sign of fellow fire sign Sagittarius. It rules expansion, luck, benevolence. But when it's in the sign of Cancer, it actually makes a challenged angle for Aries. Now, this doesn't mean that great things can't happen and will happen. But what it means is that anything that occurs from this is going to be experienced like a growing pain, because this is a 90-degree angle. This is a point of pressure where you're having to push out of something that had become quite comfortable, or that you're not ready to push out of yet. And the results could be amazing, but there is still that pressure point. Okay, so we have this story building. It's present now. Your home and family wants to expand. Things want to elucidate in your home and family and housing. Things like family holdings. You know, you may have seen in recent times family holdings be sold or purchased. Parents moving or selling childhood homes, you moving. And by the way, this is a fantastic month for moving, because the personal planets are free and clear of retrogrades and shadow periods. So if you follow my tidal analogy, then you know that in July and August, I was issuing the wait on the sand and see what the tides bring in for you, instead of trying to make things happen in July and August. But now, as of August 26th, through October 21st, we have our last full open window free from personal planet retrogrades and their shadow periods. So if you do have to move, if you do have to make a sale or a purchase of a home, if you do want to expand your home, if you do want to take on a new roommate, or have someone move in, or move in together with somebody, or, you know, expand in some other way, or buy a second home, or whatever, downsize, whatever you want to do, home-based and real estate-based, Jupiter can be helpful to you. And this month has special promise. But it is a little bit of a storm that's building. Maybe the storm has been coming because your space is too small. Maybe the storm is coming because locationally there is trouble with where you live. You know, something's happening, something is building here. But I do believe you will emerge victorious. Just stick with it and look for the signs. The synchronicities will guide you where you're supposed to go at this time, and they will be quite loud, thanks to the eclipses and some other factors. Now, another storm that you have gone through in recent years is a financial storm for 7 or 8 years, and that is starting to shift as Uranus moves out of at least the whole house, second house, and moves into the third house as it goes into Gemini, which is a much nicer sign aspect for Aries than the Taurus one was. Okay, so you may have a good chance for your finances to start to get settled. The booms and busts, or the, reversals, or whatever has gone on over 7 to 8 years, you may be starting to clear that out in the whole house chart. Now, in the Placidus chart, those of you in the early time frame, so March born friends, you'll start to feel this sooner in the Placidus chart. And as time goes on, things will settle down even more for those of you who are April born. But that doesn't mean that April born friends might not start to see some progress here. And I think that you will feel it. Even if you see that you're not out of it yet, you'll probably start seeing a time when that will be so. So now Uranus is bringing opportunities for you to bring awakening, invention, things coming out of the blue to your way of communication, upgrading your communication, updating, your devices. And if you have to buy a device this month or a computer or something like that, this is actually a fantastic time to do that. I especially love the first half of the month because the second half of the month we have a behemoth aspect, which I'll just go ahead and tell you about now while I'm thinking about it. From at least the 19th through the rest of the month, we've got Mars squaring Pluto. Mars, the god of war, your ruler, our ruler, squaring Pluto, lord of the underworld. When they come together in a difficult aspect like a square, they kind of have to issue the hide under a rock warning. Now, you may feel these tensions and manifestations before the 19th, so don't keep your guard down, just because it's not the 19th. People will be volatile, you may be one of them. People will be aggravated, you may be one of them. People may become violent, hopefully you're not one of them. But, you may have to give yourself extra support. But this is going along with this theme of dethroning darkness that we have at this time. But at this point, some things may come to a head. And you just want to make sure that so no negative long-term consequences come from this time by the choices that you make. If you have to have an important discussion, you might want to avoid this time unless it's a safe place to do that and you're ready to hash it out. This can definitely bring something out. But what this can also bring is the rubber to the road. Friction aspects like squares can make change. So if you have been in a stalemate or you've had a problem, this can crack you out of it. The way that it gets cracked out might be a little messy, might be a little stressful, but if you're looking for movement, you may find it here. Okay, so besides things involving the home, any kind of big commitments, purchases, sales, moves, starting a job, launching something, you've got great energy during this August 26th through October 21st window. For September, I definitely like the first half better because, we're away from this Mars-Pluto transit. And I do give you all the sweet and salty dates in my newsletter, which I'll tell you about how to get that later. It's at anniehelpsyou.com. But I'll talk about that more. But just in case you're one of the people who are interested in getting all of them, there are at least 28 notable aspects this month, not including star goddess aspects. So we have very, very busy skies. That's one of the things that's adding to why this month is one of the most intense of the whole year. And this aspect with Mars and Pluto is also adding to that as part of the story. All right, so we talked about Uranus. Now, Neptune and Saturn moving into Aries, although Saturn has popped back into Pisces, it's still never going to be far enough away from Aries to not be influencing here. So Aries friends, one of the storms that you have been riding, this building story, has to do with who you are and what you're doing and your role that you're playing. Your roles are likely going to be changing drastically now and in the upcoming years, and you will see this at play. If you're a parent, you'll see a new parent, you're having to reconstruct your life around your kids. If your kids are getting older, you'll start to look for what is going to fill the space now that they don't need you as much. People who aren't parents, this will take a different path. What are you supposed to be doing, and what is sustainable for you to be doing, and what is your destiny to be doing? And there is a little bit of a storm that goes along with that because the not knowing can feel really stressful. And at the same time, you have Neptune conjunct Saturn. It's very rare that outer planets make conjunctions. Anytime I give you any jargon, I always define what it is so that you can be learning, because I am an astrology teacher and I want you to be advancing in astrology with your time with me. So a conjunction is when there are planets close together. And the closer together they are, the more they affect each other and the more they amplify their effects. So Saturn, which is the skeleton of our lives, and Neptune, which is a dissolving, spiritual, amorphous, blending energy, are coming together to bring a lot of changes. I do have a separate video on Neptune and Aries that you can find. I also have the podcast version of that. But just to give a little summary, Neptune in Aries is bringing more spirituality to our daily physical body practices. Meditation is going to continue expanding, conscious living, ways that we can bring spirit into our daily life through gratitude and other ways. But the negative aspect of this can come through dissolution of things that felt certain. Saturn is trying to build new certainty and Neptune is dissolving away old things. So you're seeing these planets work in tandem. What about your life? What about the way that you express yourself? What about your roles are dissolving away, and then what is going to get put in that place? And that's the process of what's going on. So a storm is building here, of dissolution. And in that dissolution process, it can feel a little bit insecure, or a lot insecure. Still have Chiron moving through the sign of Aries. So we've been through multiple years, all in all, it'll probably be around 5 years. It's not finished yet, but going through accessing your deepest wounds in this lifetime, so Aries has been going through it. But the process of awareness, the process of working with the energies, is the process of dethroning darkness. And the eclipses this month and some of the other transits are going to facilitate bringing these things out and bringing everything up. So up-leveling everything. Okay, Mars is moving through Libra for a little while longer, making you very focused on your relationships. This started in August. A lot of things to tend to with people in your life, for better and worse. Getting lots of helpers to help you start to delegate out. This process of delegation is going to be another, you're going to hear this again, because it's going to be a very short and long-term, or both short and long-term theme for Aries, where you're starting to delegate certain things more, rather than just going ahead and doing them, as many Aries just would do, where you're going to restructure your time and get time back that you were wasting to various things that you didn't need to do. One of the great messages that I got from reading Timothy Ferriss's book, The 4-Hour Workweek, is that the more that you can take things off your plate that aren't the things that only you can do, the more freer you will be. So there are things in your life that you're doing. If you don't enjoy them and you don't need to be doing them, you'll be passing those along. And this transit through the 7th house for Mars is going to help you to be very focused on how you can do that. And because we are in a time when the tides are going out, you can make some very good connections with people and get some systems in place that will help you not only now, but into the future, where you can get things going on autopilot, where you can start to reclaim your time more as your own. So it's really exciting. There's also a lot of deep work going on in your emotional space, in your deep, intimate relationships, including money space, your in-laws, your parents, your spouse, other institutions where you are merged financially. We have a triple star goddess flow here, Lilith, Juno, and Vesta, awakening discussions of legacy, of wills, of inheritances, of winning money, of borrowing money, paying off money. Topics like debt and taxes will be coming up in a very big way, and you may have some very important discussions. And the first half of the month will be a little bit easier without that Mars-Pluto, but some of the discussions may get a little down and dirty. So, there may be some of these things that you don't want to discuss, but the family or the group has to talk about them. But things will be more productive for that time. So we've got a little longer for Venus to be in fellow fire sign, sizzling romance, very exciting creativity projects, bucket list type things, doing things you've always wanted to do this month, or planning things for the future this month. Speaking of which, you'll have a lot more clarity about the future because of the personal planets not being in retrograde, and it'll make it a little bit easier to see further out and make those plans further out. On September 20th, Venus joins Mercury and the Sun in the sign of Virgo, in your house of Virgo, with transiting South Node, which relates to the eclipses. And of course, that solar black moon eclipse, new moon, black moon eclipse on September 21st is also going to happen in this Virgo sector. So whenever anything happens in the sky, Aries placements get it doubly time intense. That's not a good way to say it grammar-wise, but you get my point. We have what's called a natural chart. So when Virgo placements are happening in the sky, everyone experiences those potentials, but Aries has the Virgo placements in the Virgo house. And for all of the other placements, we have the same thing. Venus is moving through the sign of Leo in the Leo house. Jupiter is moving through the sign of Cancer in the Cancer house. That because we have a natural chart, our ruler starts the whole sequence of the zodiac flow, and it's just how it is. So there are short-term and long-term points of focus: editing, reevaluating, scrutinizing, in some cases over-scrutinizing. Some other people may be scrutinizing things. This idea of analyzing something to make it better. Budgeting your time, putting together a new time budget, trying to delegate, becoming more efficient, getting new systems together, apps or whatever else that simplify your life. This is a huge simplification process, and this is going to be a big part of dethroning the darkness and, our Aries Stormriders emerging victorious, because any places where you've been wasting time, you're going to feel more motivation this month to knock that off. And as you do that, you'll actually bend time. There is time available for you to have that doesn't seem like you can have it because you're super busy and it seems like everything is booked out. But in this month, partly with the help of the eclipses, during which time and space get warped differently from the gravitational effects of the union of the gravitational fields of the sun, the moon, and the earth. I talk about this more in the August report. If you haven't listened to that already, you may like the physics lesson where I go into more details about this, but I'll give you a summary here. When these planets unite, their gravitational fields unite. Einstein postulated that time and space bend around gravitational fields formed by heavenly bodies. So the gravitational mass of something warps time and space around them. We know that this is true now. This was proven and we can see it. When someone goes out beyond Earth's atmosphere, they age differently because time is different. It's hard to wrap our brains around this, but it is actually true. And when we have a heavenly body line up like this, it does actually warp time and space. So you can actually start finding pockets of time, whether you need to get somewhere and you're running late and you make 5 minutes for yourself. It doesn't sound real, but I do it all the time. You can look for and find these things that seem to contradict the things that we know, but are actually quite in alignment with other physical laws that we are aware of in the universe. And this can relate to small things, but this can relate to big things. You will see time collapse, timelines collapse, and things starting to happen that seem like they were further out. And a lot of that may be on the other side of you conquering an inner demon, inner demon slaying. That usually has to do with fear. There is some kind of fear that may manifest this time. It could be any time from the end of July, bubbling into August. The actual Pisces eclipse happens September 7th, 15 degrees of Pisces, lunar eclipse. Or it could echo afterwards because that's eclipse season. And as these heavenly bodies get to mathematical points where their energetic fields start to align, as things are going to be snapped into this alignment, you will feel, this weird sense of time going on. And a lot of it has to do with changing your daily schedule. Many, many Aries placements are going to have a radically new schedule and way of doing things than they ever had. Could be one thing, could be multiple things that come in and really just change what your daily schedule, what your daily rhythm, what your daily systems look like. Things involving pets and animals can come into play. Things involving health and wellness can come into play. Things involving self-employment, your work schedule can come into play, office dynamics. At this solar eclipse time, especially, the veils are thinner. And if you really drill down into the time of the eclipse, which is 3:54 p.m. Eastern time on September 21st, this will be different depending on your time zone, the veils actually literally become affected when we look at the fact that when the moon blocks the sun's radiation from getting into the Earth's ionosphere, there is like a quiet that happens in that time. And, there is a thinning of veils that I see closer to each of the moon cycles. But when it's an eclipse, it adds to this story of this quiet, where when things are quiet, you can hear and see and sense things that have been going on all along, but were not as obvious. Bridges between worlds, people who've crossed over, information from past, present, future selves coming, racing in. The lunar eclipse may make you confront something that you're afraid of or confront something that was hidden that you are finding out about. And that will elucidate something. What it can also do is not just elucidate something bad, it can actually elucidate something good. The more work that you do diving in to your inner space through meditation, brain neurofeedback, EFT, EMDR, NLP, CBT, you can look up these abbreviations for different modalities. The more you can become friends with that space that is more hidden, your dream time, lucid dreaming, working with affirmations and meditation. A new awakening can come from something coming to a head in this space. Now, this cycle of Pisces Virgo eclipses is something that's longer term than now. From the last half of 2024 to the first half of 2027, this energy is shuffling back and forth between Pisces and Virgo, seen and unseen, logical and intuitive, synchronicity and, mundane. And things are shuffling back and forth, and new crossroads or inroads are being made with your neural pathways and in your experience. So every 4 to 6 months during this time, we have this coming up, this bubbling up of the drama or the undealt with things or the unseen things. And then it settles back down into a new normal. And then, every 4 to 6 months during this time, we have this happening. So if you think back to breakthroughs and different things that you've had during these times and changes in your schedule and all of these things I'm talking about, you may find some clues as to how things may manifest. Now, if you go back to the beginning of 2015 through the first half of 2017, this is when this happened last. Prior to that, it was the beginning of 2006 through the first half of 2008. And look at what changed. What changed in your schedule? What changed in your life? What changed about your daily things that you do and your focus and how you manage your time during those times? Things may be radically different. And you can kind of see how that may go. Now, if something bad happened in those times, it doesn't mean that that will happen again, because there are factors that were present at that time that are not present now. But you can kind of feel your way through and see different things that came up and different things that you broke through. Psychological and spiritual breakthroughs are very, 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 very much increased in probability at this time. All of this water energy, is really giving us this opportunity. And the more you use this consciously, which is why I'm telling you about it, if you know that it's going on, then that more actively you can work with the possible manifestations. Now, there will be things that happen out of our control that we can't control or fix or change, but you can still work with this energy consciously. Something else to know is that full moons can always bring water where it shouldn't be in excess and in increased probability. An eclipse in a water sign, so a water moon can expand that possibility, and an eclipse in a water sign for a full moon can also expand that. So the chance for water to go where it shouldn't be is increased, not only in the days around September 7th, but also, building through for eclipse season, August, September, October. Unfortunately, for people near the water, just be really prepared. Don't underestimate. I think we've learned that. In Florida, we had 3 horrible, life-changing storms at the end of last year. Many other water-related things happened throughout the world. North Carolina really got hit. And that's not necessarily saying that that's going to happen again. I really hope it doesn't. But it increases the odds of water-related things. So just take it seriously, be proactive, and prepare for the possibilities of water being where it shouldn't be. And that can just be figuratively and not literally. It could be emotions, and it could be for better or worse. This is an awkward angle for Aries because it dwells in the world of emotions, and Aries likes to dwell in the world of action. But there's a lot for us to learn here, and there's a lot of opportunity for us. And ultimately, this 12th house, I like to call it the Harry Potter house, where he realizes that his demons are inside of him, and as he slays them, so the outside ones disappear as problems as well. And that is the thing that Aries is really going to see. This is an opportunity for all signs, but it's extra personal for Aries since we additionally have it in the 12th house of Pisces, not just the sign of Pisces. If glass breaks and doesn't hurt anybody during, into July, August, September, into October, be happy, because it could be the universe discharging electricity and other, static from your field that can be protective to you. These eclipses have gravitational effects, and they affect our electromagnetic fields. Electromagnetic fields are real. These are measurable. We know that this is happening. And if you have all of this static building, and you will feel it, there's this tension building. If something breaks like a glass in your field, it could clear some of that out. All right. So just be aware of that if you see that happen. Also, sometimes things happen in threes. If you break 3 glasses, then as long as no one gets hurt, this is You can bless the universe, thank the universe for protecting you. Just be extra careful because, the voltage is going to be on high for sure. Resonate with how I teach and you want to learn, take full advantage of my epic Black Moon promo that's running from August 23rd through the eclipse, September 21st. So basically the first Virgo moon, new moon on August 23rd through September 21st, the Black Moon eclipse, where you can claim over $1,100 in free promos, including a couple of things that I have not offered as promos before. So when you register for my Astrology Mastery Certification course, I will teach you how to do astrology from the ground up and deepen your foundation if you already have one, give you confidence with reading charts, and show you how you can actually even earn money from this. You will get for free my Unleash Your Money Magnet, my Celestial Mindscape series, my Train Your Brain Subliminal series. These two here, the Celestial Mindscapes and the Train Your Brain Subliminal series, are great for working with that water energy this month and the Pisces eclipse of activating your subconscious mind and building a bridge between your conscious and your subconscious space. And then very special, very exciting, my brand new Star Goddess Astrology course. You will learn about 9 ladies of the zodiac, not the moon or Venus, ones that want to have a voice in your chart. And wow, wait till you see how your chart changes when you add these in. So I've been working on this for a long time. The only way to get this course is actually as a promo through this, unless you've already taken or are registered in my Mastery Certification course, then you can email me and access it. But for new people, the only way to get this Star Goddess Astrology course is by registering for this promo now. So if you like the dates and you want to have more dates and aspects, go to AnnieHelpsYou.com, sign up for my free email newsletter. I only send out one newsletter weekly, except occasionally if I have a promo going on, I will send out an additional one. I won't spam you. I will not share your list, and you won't all of a sudden wind up on some random person's list from being on my list, because I do not like that. I will not do that to you. Now, when you sign up and you get the archive link through the welcome letter, put September 2025 in, and that will bring you to the newsletter that has the sweet and salty dates. They're about halfway down, and the whole second half of that newsletter is drilling into the ones to be most awareful and careful of, and the most celebrated ones on what you can do with them. You will get early my content early by signing up for this newsletter list, and you'll get access to my eclipse resource page, which you can fully utilize for the eclipses now. I've updated that. Retrograde resource page, zodiac help tips, my 28-day virtual coaching program. Most of the work I do in the world is free, and most of the things that I talk about in my videos are more free things for you, and this is a lot more of that. If you want the earliest access to my if you want the earliest access to my content and my 2026 Astrological Tides planning calendar, search for Annie Botticelli Secret Star Portal. Just make sure you put my name in there, Annie Botticelli Secret Star Portal, in a search online, and you will find that. And that's where you will get the earliest access and also that special planning resource. And if you want to understand how Pluto going into Aquarius, Jupiter into Cancer, Uranus and Gemini, Saturn and Neptune into Aries, how all of the outer planets changing signs affects your personal chart, get my personalized video report package at anniebclarity.com, Annie the letter B clarity.com. I hope you have a wonderful month, and I'll see you next month. Bye.